Hey y'all, it's Val with Our Forever Farm. I'm doing something I've done many times on this channel, a spaghetti casserole. So if you haven't watched that, you need to watch this one. So all I'm doing is browning some ground beef. In this case, I'm browning ground deer. But ground beef is what I've used for years and years and years. So I'm just browning this up. Now when you use deer meat, you can pay extra to get some fat put in it because deer is such a lean meat. Or you can just add olive oil to it. I added just a little olive oil to this. But if you use ground beef, you do not have to do that. There'll be enough grease or fat in there to fry this right up. So this is all we're going to do right now is just fry this ground beef up. Ground deer. So on the back eye, I've got some water boiling to make my noodles, spaghetti noodles. You can use angel hair. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want to use. So my water is not ready yet, but I'm getting this prepared. When it does, I'll just boil my noodles right up. My meat is done, so we're going to continue on with this. I've drained the grease, most of the grease, out of the pan. Now we're going to add our onions.
Most of y'all know that Sweet Hunter does not like onions, but he never knows that this onion is in there, I promise you.
We'll stir this around till the onions get done. Smells good, I can tell you that. Next, we're going to add our tomatoes. You don't have to worry about getting your onions done or translucent because we're going to cook this for quite a while. They will get done. I wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. So we just added 2 cups of tomatoes. Now, I am doubling this recipe, so the original recipe for a single casserole dish will be in the description box. Next, we're going to add our ketchup. Next, we're going to add our water. Next, I'm going to add our steak sauce, and our favorite is Dale's steak seasoning. And we're going to let this simmer on the stove on a low medium for about 30 minutes. That'll cook all the water from the tomatoes and the water that we put in it and the steak sauce. It'll cook it all down. It will make it taste heavenly, I promise. This is my go-to dish. Anybody that knows me knows that I fix this a lot. When somebody's sick, I take this to them. If they've been in the hospital, if they've had a baby, this is what I fix. It's just my go-to recipe. It's easy, delicious, and will feed a crowd. So at some point in here, you could have put chopped up green bell pepper. I didn't add them in here, but that is delicious too, and you would have put it right after the onions. But you don't have to. Use what you have. My water is about ready to boil. The recipe calls for 5 ounces. I'm doubling it, so I'll probably put a little more than this of the noodles in. The reason I'm doubling it is not because we need it. We are having guests tonight, and I want to have everything prepared because we're going to be outside a lot. I like to have everything prepared where I can spend more time with my guests than I do cooking, although I love to cook. I don't need to double this today, but when you're making this, you might as well go ahead and double it. This will probably make 3 or 4 casserole dishes for us. I'll put a couple in the freezer and use one tonight. That's called fast food, y'all. Fast food. On days you don't want to cook, just to pop it out of the freezer, thaw it out, and warm it up.
I like to break my noodles as I put it into the water. So our meat sauce is ready, and if you were just making a single recipe, you wouldn't have to put this in a big bowl. You could do it all in one pan. But because I'm making several, I'm mixing it in a big bowl. The recipe that you'll find in the description box calls for cream of mushroom soup. I have, in a pinch, used cream of anything soup that I make homemade or cream of chicken soup. It still is delicious, y'all. So as I always tell you, use what you have. Now we're just mixing it all together. Every time I make a casserole, I try to double it. You know the verse in the Bible that I always refer to, she looketh well to the ways of her household. That is what you're doing when you double your recipe. And now we're draining our noodles. Now as quick as I drain them, I also put them right back in the pan they come out of, and I do it quickly. And then we just add it to our meat sauce. And we mix it together well. And as you can see, as you're mixing it, this makes a lot of food. So tonight, this is the dish I'm using. I'm thinking it's like a 9 by 13 pan. We're going to feed 5 people tonight. And then I did 2 smaller dishes because most of the time it's just me and Sweet Hunter, 2 or 3 of us. Now this is the casseroles before I put the topping on. So most of the time I only top these with cheese. That's what the recipe calls for. But I'll tell you something I've done before. I keep homemade breadcrumbs in my pantry, and I love to mix them with butter, salt, and pepper, and then stir the cheese in and top it with that. It is absolutely delicious. But tonight is cheese.
Well, I put one up already in the freezer. I'm fixing to package this one up, and this one will be for tonight. So this is something you can prepare ahead of time. You can freeze. You can wait till your company's here and bake it, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up. My oven will be preheated at 350. I'll bake it for 30 minutes. Everything in it is cooked. You're basically heating it through and melting the cheese. So it's great. Freeze it, prepare it early, whatever you want to do. Y'all go cook something.